What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're diving back into Vita Carnis. Vita Carnis was a series that we checked out a long time ago and was one of the most popular analog horror series about this meat-like fungus that will grow around the world and form these many different monsters. Vita Carnis has returned with a season 2, but now we're gonna dive in completely blind. Be sure to go support the original creator of the Vita Carnis series, and let's get straight into it. Warning. The video talks about and shows imagery of graphic content like flashing lights, gore, violence, death. Viewer discretion is advised.
Today something has happened within the restricted zone, where a large group of cultists have been apprehended. Several teams of military personnel have arrested some high-ranking...
Cult leader apprehended. Military veteran Simon Vanguard found to be the leader of a secret organization. Simon was apprehended during the raid of Landborough Mall, where he was found leading high-ranked cult members in a ritualistic sacrifice. Custody of Simon was handed over to police by Carcass, where he will face trial for his crimes. We're already starting off with like criminals.
These members are well-renowned politicians and high-ranking members of multiple governments across the globe.
Many documents have been released providing sufficient proof of the atrocities that were being committed. Some of these crimes include murder, kidnapping, torture, ritual sacrifice, and the list goes on.
The members are found guilty of deliberately providing false information to the public in an attempt to cause harm.
The New Trier Company has been found to have very significant ties with cultist activities and has been shut down. All New Trier products have been deemed hazardous for consumption.
Cultivation farms are facing pressure to shut down.
Public unrest grows as the New Trier cult case brings more crimes that were hidden away.
Mimic left
People are
unchecked.
outraged by how little was actually being done.
They demand that something be done to handle the Carnis people.
Riots appear in the streets as protests begin to turn aggressive.
Our leaders were plotting against us. Who would we trust? What happens now?
Secret world order. And that's the orb. Yo, I'm getting OG Deshaun vibes.
I am the Magister, and get ready to explore all of the world's wonders.
Okay.
Today, we are learning about the circle of life.
Okay. Carcass. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Carcass is like the organization in charge of the meat. Progress report.
Test report number 4. We still know very little about the nature of the entities. There are 7 singularities in total.
7?
Each singularity is roughly 1 meter in diameter. They are made of an unknown material, although it looks and feels very similar to glass.
Why are you feeling it?
We are unable to sample it in fear of causing potential damage. The material is very dark in color, but has red shimmers of light swirling inside. There are some hints of other colors present, but is mostly dominated by the red.
Dominated?
Each entity hovers above the ground in a stationary position, although they can be moved with relative ease. Our equipment can detect some subtle pulses of energy in rhythmic but random patterns.
Okay. This is mad ominous. This is mad ominous, guys. Oh my goodness.
We don't know what they are. We don't know if it is breathing or communicating. We don't even truly know if they are even organic.
But
This is
everything else
nothing
is
new,
organic.
Just confirming what we already know.
Okay.
Our first experiments didn't give any interesting leads. The most we got was some interference with electronics, especially when there is more than one kept close together.
Okay.
But the experiment we conducted showed extremely significant results. The experiment played out like this. In test chamber 1, a live cow was released into the chamber with V1.
Okay. I don't want to pause too much. I want to really soak in everything so we can have a deep conversation at the end. But I think that the singularities are quite literally just the energy sources. Like, okay, you guys know how the sun kind of fuels plants' growth. I think the singularities fuel the Vita or the Carnis, their growth, kind of like the sun. Don't quote me on that. It's just a wild guess. I'm kind of just shooting a shot in the dark.
Extended period. They were left together for 24 hours. The test showed minimal results from the entity and an increase in stress from the cow. Next, the body of a cow was put into the chamber with V1 for 24 hours. The results were extraordinary.
Oh my God! What did I say? Come on, guys.
5 hours after the whole body had been ingested, concentrations of crawl rapidly grew from several points from within the chamber. What this could mean, it rewrites everything we knew about the Vita Carnis species.
Why would the crawl grow out?
Yeah, because we originally thought that the crawl was the source.
First, a young larva hatches from within its egg. It will roam around and find food to help it grow and grow.
Okay.
Once they are big enough, they transform into a pupa. And after some more time, they transform into an adult beetle. The adult beetle will go out into the world in search of food.
Stop doing it. Dr. Rhodes, serious crawl specialist.
Progress report for crawl samples. Cultivation has been successful. So far, we grew them with 3 specific environmental factors. 1 is our control group, 2 with access to additional nutrition sources, and 3 with exposure to radio signals. Group 1 grew on par with standard crawl samples. No distinct abnormalities. Group 2 grew at a faster pace than the control group, as expected. No distinct abnormalities. Group 3 grew against its normal pattern, weaving its way toward the radio. Once the device was claimed, it switched to usual growth patterns. Again, no distinct abnormalities.
Oh my God.
In conclusion, the samples that were grown in V1's test chamber don't seem to differ from others grown from other sources. Still, we will continue with more factors and further groups, just in case. There have been some developments in the propagation group. V1 samples have seemingly been able to produce nodules at a slightly quicker rate than wild samples. Control groups show that V1 samples begin node development a few days faster. More time will be needed to say for sure. As for the nodes themselves, there aren't any distinct abnormalities. We've successfully hatched a dozen Carnish juveniles, several trimmings, 2 meat snakes, and even 1 mimic. We will be sending them to the enclosures after everyone's reports get sent out.
Growing a mimic is kind of
And
crazy. Ew! Scientists never learn though.
Mint and is now ready for the garden.
Okay, trimming specialist. We're hearing from a lot of specialists right now.
Audio log. Progress report for trimming colony. Significant progress in learning the social patterns of a group of trimmings we have been keeping together. A new batch of juveniles were added to the main colony at the beginning of the new progress report. They were accepted into the community immediately. No conflict or rejection observed. They did provide the circumstances to document one of their interactions.
Nasty.
Trimmings communicate through a series of vocal cues. Colony members meeting the new batch with squeaks and squeals. They also are not afraid to show us when they are upset.
Oh.
Trimmings also use some physical displays as well.
Aren't they supposed to
For
be
example,
friendly?
trimmings do a chewing or chatter motion with their mouths when they are happy or interested in something.
I thought they were supposed to be peaceful.
The experiment that we performed was to explore the extent of their communication skills. The test went like this. We took one of the trimmings and had them in place in a modified enclosure. A speaker would play 2 separate audio cues. A positive cue would play, followed by a treat. And a negative cue, followed by a small spray of cold water.
Torture?
We did several rounds of both audio cues to condition the trimming's response.
Oh, this is so cool. Oh my God! Oh, that thing looked nasty. Look at his butt.
After the test, the trimming was released back to its colony. And after a few hours, we tested how much the trimmings communicated. Another speaker was placed near the colony's enclosure, where we played the same audio cues. It is incredible to see how layered their social interactions can be. Although, we tried something a bit bizarre.
Y'all gonna stop messing with these things. They gonna eat
A
y'all.
wild colony had settled around the facility recently. It was strange what we did.
What'd you do?
It was a long shot. We set up a radio device near the wild colony and near ours. We linked both devices up and played the cues.
There's many dangers out there in the world.
Yo.
There are many predators that would love to have beetles for a snack. And unfortunately, not all beetles make it. Yes, it is sad, but that's how the circle of life works. But look, one of the beetles has laid eggs.
Ew.
And once the beetle's eggs hatch, the beautiful cycle starts again. And life continues on.
I'm so confused what that has to do with like Vita Carnis. Is that it? Okay guys, after reading the comments, I think I got an idea of what's going on here, okay? So one, we know that the singularities are kind of like beacons in a way where they can let off signals that transform like carcasses or dead animals, maybe even people, we don't know yet, into crawl. And if you guys know, the crawl is what bursts all the different Vita Carnis species or types of things within the species. So we know that they're kind of like beacons. And I think I kind of pieced together that the life cycle video was basically stating that the Vita Carnis has a life cycle. What that life cycle looks like, we don't know. Maybe it's similar to the beetles where, you know, they hatch and then they become, the circle of life all again. We also learned that the trimmings have like kind of like a hive mind. They kind of have like a connection with one another that, even though one experienced something, it told everything else to experience it. That was normal. However, how do the trimmings that was on the outside of the facility know, that one sound means food, another sound means spray with water? This is getting very deep. We also know that there are cults. This series is so lore rich, and I'm thinking about doing a live stream or something where we catch up, on the series. If you guys want to see that, please let me know. I would obviously be open to doing that. But with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning into another Vita Carnis episode. It's been so long. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.